Hello students, how are you people? Once again welcome back to our biology class. Myself Dr. Raghavendra here. Okay, in today's class we will study about most interesting structure, the organ. Yes, everybody is interested to listen that through their ear. So we are going to study about the ear only. Well, human ear, yes, very important as such. It is not only the organ of hearing, it also helps in body balance, we can say. So two important functions what it does is mainly, yes, hearing or perceiving the vibrations of the sound as well as helps in body balance. We will discuss that, how it is. Human ear is divisible into three parts. So one is called as external ear. External ear, the outermost part, yes, represented by ear pinna, we call it as. Ear pinna and ear lobe, we can say. Yes, people used to pierce this ear pinna as well as ear lobe to wear the various kind of ornaments and decorate their ear. So no doubt it is also now a part of attraction other than hearing and body balance. So next is mainly the middle ear. In the middle ear, what we find? Yes, let me tell you, there is a structure called as external auditory meatus. It is also called as mainly external ear canal. External ear canal. Then, yes, there is one more part called as the eardrum. Eardrum is also known as the mainly tympanic membrane or tympanum. Yes. Then we find ear ossicles. Ear ossicles are three tiny bone structures. They are malleus, incus, stapes, or stapes also we call it as. Okay? Yes. Then the next in the mainly what it is middle ear, we find one more important part that is called as eustachian canal. Eustachian canal that connects the middle ear with the pharynx. Okay, eustachian canal. Next, yes, what is that we study about inner ear. Inner ear, yes, what we find mainly here there is a structure called as vestibular apparatus. Vestibular apparatus. Yes, this vestibular apparatus mainly made up of three semicircular canals. Okay, yes, it is also called as a semicircular canals. That inside have a structure called as crista ampullaris. These semicircular canals, like it will be like this. There are three semicircular canals. Like this, it will be, yes, and then it will be like this. Okay. So these are called as ampulla. Ampulla with crista ampullaris. Means inside there will be certain tufts of hairs. Okay, the tufts of hairs they will be moving. There is a fluid inside that also we will discuss. And then we find mainly other than this there is a structure called as mainly otolith organ. Otolith organ. This has three parts. Utriculus, macula, and then sacculus. All these parts, yes, you will be finding when I label them in that detailed structure, otolith organ. Other than this, you will find cochlea. Yes, cochlea with yes that is mainly, yes, in the cochlea we find the retinar membrane, basilar membrane, as well as organ of Corti, organ of Corti. Yes, these are the structures. Yes, as such in the ear we will find. You need to remember this is basically the outline of the whole structure of the ear. Okay, so what we find mainly the external ear, middle ear, inner ear. Middle ear has four important components such as external auditory meatus, means ear canal, that is having tufts of hairs and certain mainly what you can say sebaceous glands or oil glands. And then there is mainly it's a kind of a filter that avoid the entry of the dust particles. And then eardrum or tympanic membrane that mainly move because of the vibrations. Every sound is a vibration only. You might have studied the fork experiment. When we beat the fork, yes, to the any support or the hard surface that keep moving frequencies, yes, we find, and that is a vibration. Every sound is a form of vibration, and that vibration was vibration of our eardrum. Then eardrum causes the movement of ear ossicles, malleus, incus, stapes, and then the vibration move inside to the inner ear. But there is a canal called a eustachian canal that connects the middle ear and pharynx. This eustachian canal helps in maintaining the optimum pressure front and behind of the eardrum. Now, the inner ear, yes, vestibular apparatus that has three semicircular channels. There is a otholic organ also we find that has mainly utriculus, mainly macula and sacculus. Then cochlea we find much more coiled structure it will be. Yes, there we find mainly organ of Corti. Most importantly, there is one more important thing, mainly inside the cochlea and in the vestibular apparatus also. Yes, we find inside cochlea and vestibular apparatus. Vestibular apparatus, we find the structures mainly what we call as mainly the bony labyrinth. Bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth. Yes. So this outer structure, whether it is a cochlea, coil structure, whether these are the semicircular channels, they are hard outside. Then it is called the bony labyrinth. Inside, they do have a kind of a membranous structure that holds a fluid. Then it is called as mainly, yes, membranous labyrinth. Other than this, we find even the fluids inside the inner ear. There are the fluid called as yes, the fluid in the inner ear. Yes, it is differentiated into perilymph, and then endolymph. So perilymph is mainly, yes, in the bony labyrinth. Endolymph is in the membranous labyrinth. Okay, we will study these many details as such in the structure of the ear. First, I have given you the overall outline of the structural aspects. Now we will go into the diagrammatic view of all these structures. Then we will discuss about function as well as certain disorders related with the ear. Now, I hope you noted down the ear is not only the organ of hearing, it also helps in body balance. Why? Because in the mainly these semicircular canals, the fluid is there. What is a perilymph, endolymph. When we lie down, yes, the fluid move here up to the tip. When we stand straight, the fluid is down here. The movement of the fluid helps us to understand the position of our body, whether our body is standing or sleeping or floating or swimming or falling or dancing. All that, yes, body balance also it helps. Hearing also it helps. The external ear has ear pinna and ear lobe. then middle ear has mainly ear canal or external auditory meters we say, eardrum or tympanic membrane we say, ear ossicles, bony particles of the middle ear, eustachian canal. Other than this, in the inner ear we find vestibular apparatus, they also called semicircular canal, otolith organ that has utricle, maculus and sacculus, then cochlea, and then organ of Corti we find. Other than this, in the inner ear we find the structures called as bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth. They are filled with the fluids called as the perilymph, endolymph. So yes, there are the base of these semicircular canals are swollen and large. Inside they have the tufts of hairs and they are called crista ampullaris. They also keep moving according to the fluid moving according to the body position. When they keep moving, there are what we call them as stereocilia we call them, or the tectoral hairs we call them. They send a signal to the brain that body is now moving, body is now static, body is stagnant. So thus the ear is not only the organ of hearing, it is also organ of balancing. Let us go into the details of now the structure of the ear. So as such, the diagram is very important. Yes, you need to remember some of the important structures. Yes, I am going to mention here, and that will be definitely helpful to you to understand the basic mechanism of hearing also. Well, the human ear, the outermost external ear, middle is mainly the middle ear, and then inner is inner ear. So here now let me mention the structure of the human ear. This is what we call it as mainly the external ear. So here what we find, yes, there is a cartilaginous structure and we find this. Mainly it is called as ear pinna. Yes, it is a funnel-like structure that helps in perceiving the sound. Then here is the ear lobe, the fleshy structure. So this is a cartilaginous structure. Now here is the ear opening and then it moves. So here what we are finding, yes, so we find lots of these minute hairs, okay, and yes, there is a wax also produced. So oil gland or sebaceous gland is present that helps in trapping the dust particle. Sometimes small insects also may enter here, that time it will prevent the entry of the insects. So this is what we are observing mainly. Yes, the external ear, this is what ear pinna. Now here it is what we are mainly observing. This is what we call about the structure is the tympanic membrane or eardrum, and very next to this there is what we say, this structure is called as a ear ossicle. There are 3 ear ossicles as such. Fine. So now we find here there is the eustachian canal. This is all eustachian canal. What we are observing. Fine. Now we find a structure like this. Yes. This is called as cochlea, and yes, we find mainly these are the auditory nerves going together, and then yes, we find here utriculus, macula and saculus, and we find these are what we say semicircular canals. We also call them as vestibular apparatus. Okay, they do have bulged base. Crista, what you can say, ampullaris will be here, and this structure, this is what we say cochlea. Okay, so this is all about the mainly the ear as such. Let me mention, this is the external ear up to here, then this is the middle ear, then further it is the inner ear. Now this is what we say mainly the external auditory meatus, okay, or external ear canal we say, and this is mainly the tympanum. Well, this is mainly malleus. This is the middle one. Here it is the incus, and the small bone steps. Yes, this is what we are observing, Eustachian canal. Eustachian canal. Okay, and here what we find, most important thing, yes, in the cochlea, the vibrations are now, what we can say, they are entering like this, vibrations keep moving, and then all the vibrations exit out. Entry of the vibration here, this is called as oval window, and exit of the vibrations, it is called as a round window. Okay, this is mainly utriculus, macula, saculus. These three together called as auditory organ, and these three are semicircular canals. And so it is together called as vestibular apparatus. Okay, yes. Now here this is what we say cochlea, and this mainly auditory nerve. Well, so if we think of mainly the structure as such about the ear, what you are observing on the board, yes, it has external ear, it has the middle ear, it has mainly the inner ear. Okay, well, we need to understand what is this mainly much more quiet structure, cochlea. Yes, cochlea has, if we cut open, if we take a section anywhere, here or anywhere, it reveals that cochlea, the LS reveals that it is like this. So the vibration coming in, vibrations are going out. Coming in by what window? Oval window. Vibrations coming in. Yes, vibrations are going out. That is by round window. So oval window and round window in the cochlea, and there is, yes, here also a fluid. This fluid is called as endolymph, and here the fluid perilymph. In much more elaborated way, let me mention, it can appear like this. Yes, it can be. It is actually what we say mainly tube inside the tube. It will be somewhat like this. Yes. So here the vibration coming, I hope now you will be able to understand this. Vibrations are going out, but here what you are observing, so a cochlea means like this. It will be the perilymph here. On both the sides, endolymph is in the middle. I hope you are able to understand now this. Is it clear? So, if it is a coiled tube, we uncoil it, we can find like this. Sound is going here mainly by the oval window. It is circulating and coming out. While moving, it will move the fluid and also it will move these membranes. If you take the section of this, what we find? Let me tell you. Yes, the cochlea TS. Now LS we studied. TS of cochlea reveals. Let me mention here. Cochlea TS. It will be having the most important structure, and it is actually three-chambered structure. Yes, like this. So what we find here, let me mention, yes, it is called as this cavity scala media, scala tympani. Yes, it is called as scala vestibuli. Scala vestibuli. And here, this is called as Reissner membrane. Reissner's membrane, and here it is called as basilar membrane. Basilar membrane. And now here above this we find there is an important structure that has sensory hairs, and these sensory hairs will be rubbing to a membrane. This is called as organ of Corti, the most important part. Organ of Corti. And this is the tectoral membrane. And these are the chirocelia. Let me mention this also. Tectoral membrane. And these hair-like structures called as stereocilia. Yes. So these are few important details, structural details inside the ear. You need to remember all these and understand it. Yes, let me briefly tell you about this. So human ear, external ear, it is a ear pinna. Very flexible fold, what we call as ear pinna, that is receiving the sound. Now the sound or vibrations are coming in the middle ear. This is called as external auditory meters or middle ear canal, that is having tufts of hairs and wax glands mainly, that prevent the dust entry and other insect entry. Now here we find mainly eardrum or tympanum, and that moves or vibrates according to the vibrations. When it moves, it will move the ear, mainly ossicles, small bony structures. Malleus, this one, then incus and stapes. When they move, the vibration enter into the cochlea, much more circular coil structure. So the vibration entering through the oval window but exit through the round window. When the vibrations are moved inside, that has created movement of the inner fluid such as the endolymph and perilymph, and also that created movement of membranes such as the racinar membrane, basilar membrane. So after creating that vibrations or movement, the vibration exit out through the round window. Now the vibration signals are converted into impulses inside the cochlea, and those impulses mainly transmitted by the auditory nerve to the brain. Let me tell you here, other than the only hearing mechanism, you will find mainly a structure called the otolic organ that has a fluid inside, mainly utriculus, maculus, sacculus, has tufts of hairs, and the fluid called as mainly, it may be the perilymph also, endolymph also it is having, and the semicircular canals, that is called the vestibular apparatus, that is also having perilymph, endolymph. The fluid move according to the body position. As a result, the signals are going to the brain again about the body position. But actually hearing is mainly happens inside what we can say cochlea. How that sound vibrations are converted into impulses, let me tell you. Yes, we say that the oval, mainly oval window taking the signal in, round window taking the signal out. Means if we take uncoil this, mainly what we find like this. So here going and coming out, and that mainly outer, what you can say, it is like a tube inside the tube. Outer tube is having a perilymph, inner tube is having endolymph. It is tube inside tube, and what is happening when the movement of the mainly sound or vibrations, that time they will cause the movement of perilymph and endolymph. This perilymph endolymph movement called the ripple action movement. So when we hold a rubber and make a string, it moves not like that. Guitar string moves not like that. These membranes now vibrating. So the vibration of these racinar membranes and the basilar membrane happens. And then at the same time, there is what we say organ of Corti, having sensory hairs. We call them stereocilia. They start mainly rubbing to the tectoral membrane. Now this rubbing action is the end point of converting the vibration now into impulses. By rubbing action in the tectoral membrane, there are the nerves. Those nerves will change mainly their permeability, action potential generated. Now this action potential travels through the auditory nerve, reach the brain. So thus our brain will analyze and understand whether we are listening a music, whether we are listening a noise, whether somebody is shouting at us, all that, yes, we will differentiate, discriminate when there is a conversion of vibrations into the impulses. I hope you got an idea regarding this. Let me explain once again. The sound is received by the ear pinna, conveyed through the ear canal, vibration of tympanum, movement of ear ossicle, vibration entering to oval window, traveling through the coil called cochlea, exiting through the round window. When it is traveling inside, what it has caused? It has caused the movement of perilymph, endolymph. So the movement of perilymph, endolymph, that has caused the movement of the racinar membrane, basilar membrane. A TS of this cochlea, yes, we reveal us three important chambers. Upper one is scala vestibuli, lower one is scala tympani, middle is scala media. Now the membrane between vestibuli and media is the racinar membrane. The membrane between scala media and tympani is a basilar membrane. Above the basilar membrane, organ of Corti is there. That is the most important structure to convert the vibrations into signals or impulses. Now vibrations has caused the movement of the hairs or hair cells of stereocilia rub mainly to tectoral membrane. In the tectoral membrane that having a nerve ends, their action potential generated, then the impulse travels through the auditory nerve to the brain. Brain will understand what is the what mechanism now, what is the kind of sound we are hearing. So this is all about mainly the structure and mechanism of hearing. Let me just give a flow chart of mechanism of hearing. So let us understand now mechanism of hearing, which will be very simple in fact, so you can easily understand that. So I hope the structure details you got very clearly. Now let us understand how this mechanism of hearing. Let me mention here human ear mechanism of hearing. So now here we talk about mainly sound or vibrations received by funnel-like structure earpiece. Now the sound is traveling through what? Ear channel or auditory meter. External auditory meters. Then, yes, it is causing movement of tympanum. Then, yes, movement of ear ossicles. Yes, then there is what we can say that yes. So now the vibration enter into cochlea. Vibrations enters through mainly the opening called as the oval window and exits through round window. Okay, what action happens inside the cochlea? That is important now, right? Yes, action inside cochlea. Now the vibrations have caused the movement of the vibrations has caused ripple action, we can say ripple action or movement of mainly retinas and basilar membrane. Basilar membranes. Now what is happening? The vibration has caused, yes, mainly movement of stereocilia in organ of Corti. Okay, yes, rubbing of stereocilia to tectoral membrane. That has caused a change in permeability. Permeability of auditory nerves. Impulse now carried into impulse carried to the brain. So the auditory cortex analyze what is the sound we are hearing. So this is the total overview of what you are observing, mainly mechanism of hearing. So what is this? Let me just once again summarize. Sound or vibrations received by the ear pinna. External auditory meters, yes, the ear channel take up that signal, transmit it to the mainly tympanic membrane or tympanum or eardrum moves. Then movement of ear ossicles. Then the vibrations now pushed inside the oval window, then exiting out through the round window, but the mainly vibrations have traveled through the cochlea. So inside the cochlea, what we find? There is a endolymph, perilymph movement also. Yes, vibrations mainly ripple action of the movement of the retinal and basilar membrane. Yes, along with what we can say? Yes, we can say along with what is there? Perilymph and endolymph. Peri and endolymph. So, movement of stereocilia now here of the organ of Corti rubbing to the pectoral membrane, converting vibration into the impulse due to the change in the permeability of the auditory nerves. Then the signals are carried to the brain. The brain will analyze what is the sound we are hearing. Okay, this is all about what we talk regarding mainly mechanism of hearing. Now we need to know some of the kind of mainly the sounds that can cause mainly certain what we can say behavioral changes in us. So disturbance, they can cause. Now disabilities, we can say disorders of hearing. Let me tell you, the sound is measured in terms of what? Sound is measured in terms of decibels. Okay, so here the first one is 60 dB. So it is called as mainly 60 decibels is a normal sound. Now it is 90 decibels, it is a noise. 120 decibels, it is an aeroplane. Then it is 150 decibels, it is a jet plane or fighter jet. 180 decibels, it is rocket. So anything beyond the 90 decibels for a prolonged period, chronic exposure to the sound above 90 decibels, chronic exposure, above 90 decibels causes, means to the too much of noise. Yes, what you feel? You will feel irritation. You will feel, rise in heartbeat. Increased blood pressure, loss of sleep. It may lead to anxiety and aggression. These are the kind of disorders. That's why we should not be exposed too much always to the heavy noise. Otherwise, it will affect our behavior and it will cause mental imbalance. So this is all about mainly today's class. As 60 decibels is normal sound, 90 is a noise, 120 is aeroplane sound, 150 decibels jet plane, 180 is mainly rocket, and irritation as well as it can cause chronic exposure to above the 90 decibels can cause deafness or loss of hearing. So these are mainly rise in heartbeat, increased blood pressure, irritation, loss of sleep. Mainly anxiety as well as aggression and deafness. So with this we have completed the chapter neural control and coordination. Please study well, do well. Thank you very much.